Hey, Tarot on the Mount Collective. I have not formally stepped into this space and shared much about myself or even shown you what I look like. You definitely know my voice by now. But I wanted to take a moment and do kind of a collective reading for the Tarot on the Mount community. At the time that I'm recording this, we have a little bit over 600. I am so grateful for each and every one of you that have tapped into my videos, and I just thank you for being here. I'd say 6 months ago, I really didn't know much about the names of God or the 72 angels, and the next series that we're stepping into are gonna be the 72 Goetia, or the demons. The 72 angels and the 72 demons kind of exist at opposite poles, but they're almost one and the same. But their vibration is definitely different. And so I would just like to give back, and I hope this reading is beneficial. I'm going to just send you, the screen will have a picture of the cards I pulled, so you're just going to have to trust that I pulled these cards. And you'll see the cards I pulled, and I'm just going to read them. And so what I did ask is that this message be for the collective. So whether it's the whole reading or just a snippet, I hope that something in here is relative to what you've been through, what you've gone through, and kind of what you're stepping into. And so the overall message I get is courage, victory, like really being seen for who you are. And this victory comes after a period of obstacles, after a period of battling, right? 1 step up, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. This kind of like dancing with reality, trying to get forward, but every step you take, it seems like you're pulled back even further than you were able to advance. But this energy says that because of your courage to never stop taking steps, because you continue to step, no matter the battle, no matter the obstacle, no matter the fight, you've gotten to this place where finally you are in a position of elevation, where others can finally see you for who you knew yourself to be, but maybe circumstances in life didn't really set you up in a way to be seen as the divine sees you. We also, I have not falsely accused anyone. So a part of my decks is a handmade deck, and so I do have the laws of Ma'at. And so one of them, I have not falsely accused anyone. And so I really think that before we can talk about anything outside of ourselves, we really begin with looking inwards. And so this is being able to look at yourself and to tell yourself the truth about who you are, what you've endured, how do you feel about it, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your desires? Right? And it's the self-assessment, and it's our comfort with being so honest and so raw with ourself that kind of brings us to this energy of courage, right? Because it takes courage to tell the truth to self. I think a lot of us can walk around for years at a time, decades at a time, kind of living very inauthentically, because we're just trying to survive. We're trying to get up to do what we got to do the next day. We're trying to just make it through the things that we've endured. But at some point along the way, whether it happened all in 2023 or it kind of built up, over, let's say 2020, 2021, 2022. If you think about from 2020 to 2023, what did that personally look like for you, right? And before you can tell someone else their truth, you first have to be able to tell that to yourself. You have to be your greatest mirror, your greatest reflection, so that you don't fall prey to the projections that others give you. And so when you can be your authentic self, when you can stand amidst the illusions and be unshakable, you reach this place of victory. And somehow along the way, you knew that the projection and the reality that you were living was not truly the divine story that you were here to write and to be a part of. And so literally by telling yourself the truth, accepting and embracing your own authenticity, you were then able to create the reality that you knew was always present, but just unseen, right? And so now there's this realization that, oh shit, like I know what I'm here to do. Like this is like the life purpose mode. the switch is turned on. And there's a sense of a level up. Like, things get serious when you know why God put you here. Like, things get very serious, because once you know, there's no turning back, there's no ignoring. You can't go back to sleep now. Like, you know exactly what you're called to do. And so the level up is real. And so with that reality, or with that acknowledgement of your life purpose and what you're called to do, the way you're supposed to walk, the way you're supposed to move. And at this point, we should all know that our life purpose really has nothing to do with us. It's not for self-gratification. It's really about for the model that we have agreed to be in front of others, so that they too can feel courageous in walking in their own truth, in their own path. And so with that comes an anxiety, right? And the anxiety comes from you understanding what you've been through. And in your mind, you're like, I don't have the skills, I don't have the tools, I don't have the ability. But what you don't understand, or what we often forget, is that every battle, every setback, every obstacle was really growing something inside of you. And so if you're at this moment of this revelation within self, you know exactly what to do. Right? Now, you were not able to practice your purpose in the past because you were still in training. You were very much in training. But and listen, training doesn't stop. Warfare doesn't stop, but it definitely adjusts. And it changes into different narratives depending on the skill that you need to acquire for the battles that come next. But the thing about this one is you can sense that something is different within you, outside of you, and that the way you walk, the way you move, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, like something has changed. But it's a beautiful change, but it can also be a little scary. Okay. Now, we have the presence, we have the energy of family and forgiveness. Depending on what we all believe, once we're here, we really don't have control. Up until a certain point, we can kind of control our story. But when we're really growing from womb until, I don't know, what does it say? The brain doesn't really mature until 25. Like, we really don't get in the seat of our command center until like mid-20s, where we're like, oh my God, like, I got to navigate this vessel, aka the body. Like, I'm controlling this thing. I'm not just responding and reacting to this earthly life. Like, I can actually drive my own ship and command it to turn this way, turn that way, allow these people to be passengers, kick these motherfuckers out, right? Like, at some point you realize you truly are in control. But up until a certain point, you were really running off of the narrative and the systems that were built for you by way of family, by way of lineage, by way of bloodline. And so, we don't always get to choose our family members. And sometimes that can, like, damn it, like, we can't choose them. We can't choose them. And there's a reason for that, because they are vital for our growth, whether they are hateful or whether they're helpful. We need them. And I had a revelation during this last full moon in Cancer, which was so appropriate. Cancer is about home. It's our 4th house. Talks about the mother, all that good stuff. There's a certain amount of forgiveness that you had to give and extend to those that you most loved, to those that were closest to you. When we talk about betrayal, a stranger can't necessarily betray you, right? Because you don't know each other. And so the emotional link, the emotional tie between the two of you is irrelevant and non-existent. And so if it is just a random act of violence is what we call it, right? But when you know the person and the people and the groups that have caused you harm consciously, purposefully, that's a different level of existence that you have to live with. And so you are in this level up. You have made it to this understanding and this appreciation of your life purpose, because at some point along the way, you decided to forgive those closest to you. And that is not easy. I am about to hit 10 minutes. Part 2 is going to be on YouTube, but I'm going to keep going. So we're talking about family. We're talking about forgiveness. We're talking about you becoming a healer, but you cannot heal or help another until you have healed and helped yourself. And so you have leveled up because you were your own. You lifted yourself up. You carried yourself when others pushed you down, right? You wiped your tears when others created them. You told the truth when others told lies, right? You were able to just be you no matter what was being created around you, even if you were the subject of the storms. Those weren't necessarily storms that you brewed up, right? And those people, those family members, those that you have loved, those that you have shared meals with, those that you have went through milestones with, those people are some of the greatest teachers that you ever have met. Because every time something was done to you, it triggered something inside of you that's like, that's not right. That doesn't feel good. That's not who I am. That's not true. Without them signaling the alarms within you, we could have laid dormant. We never could have woke up to who we were spiritually, to our spiritual identity. And so with every offense, and we're going to talk about the spirit offense at some point, like that's going to be another series, but with every offense, the fact that you decided to go within instead of addressed all the things that were happening without is what growth is what healing is. Because before it's able to become a true wound, you healed it immediately, right? And it wasn't about putting a Band-Aid on it. You were like, I'm going to put alcohol. I'm just going to go, I'm going to pull out the entire med kit and I'm going to fix this right here and now. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to dissect it. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to, and so those wounds never really had the ability to get lost within you. And so you're at a point now where, because you are stepping into this space of victory and courage, one of the hardest things you have to do is forgive. And there are levels to forgiveness, right? Our mind and our mouth can say, I forgive. But if our heart doesn't feel that, then we still have work to do. And so if there's any anger or hatred or grief or bitterness within your heart, within your bones, within your core, then forgiveness has not yet been achieved. One of the ways that you will know that you have forgiven is, honestly, this may sound a little sadistic depending on the things that we've endured, is when you can laugh about it. Not laugh at the incidents that took place, but laugh at the fact that something outside of you thought that it was stronger than you, thought that it was better than you, thought that it could overpower you. Laugh at the fact that you still stand even when all odds were against you. And it's when you can laugh at those that attacked you because they doubted the fact that you could heal you, right? And most of the people that are attacking and betraying and lying and stealing and conniving are really wounded people. And every time somebody wounds you, you literally have a choice. Am I going to take this wound and pass it on? Am I going to pass it back? Am I going to carry this baton? Or am I going to throw this shit down and just totally create my own story, which is what healing is. It's saying, I'm not picking that shit up. I'm not passing it on to my children. I'm not treating my spouse the way I watched you treat your spouse, right? I'm not raising my children to become like this. No, like that's what healing is. It's when you literally stop and you say no more. And the laughter is like, damn, like I was bigger and better and stronger than even I knew. But there was something inside of you that you stayed true to. There was something inside of you that you stayed true to. And this is what causes the wheel of fortune. This is what causes karma to really change. The seasons are changing now. Yes, a new year is changing, but for many of us, a new life is about to be born. And so the story that you knew that surrounded your identity There are no more chapters. That book is finished. There's not another chapter that is going to look like the past chapters in the past books that your life was writing. Your life is about to totally read different. And so there is anxiety about this coming to an end, this cycle being completed. Like, am I capable? Yes, you are. Yep. The fact that you're breathing, the fact that you're listening to this message is an indication that, like, this is exactly where you're supposed to be. And so as this wheel of, karma is good or bad, it's literally just a return. Whatever but don't send shit out that you don't want to come back. Don't send shit out that you don't want to come back. Like, this is karma. A lot of people feel justified in spells and all kind of stuff. And like, that's your business. We were given free will because we all are privy to use it the way we want to use it, right? We all have free will. Not trying to take that from anybody. But what I'm saying to you, as an evolved being, as an integrated being, as a whole being, as a being, we have our own darkness and we have our own light. And we have to know how to become the greatest alchemists of our own energies. And so who are we to be casting shit out to another? It's almost a different side of our own woundedness that we think that we can become the judge of another. And we can make somebody else pay for something, that they potentially did. Like that is a dangerous game. And so I feel like the evolved being knows, one, that this universe is systematically designed to balance itself out. And so you kind of have to be patient, and you kind of no, there's no kind of. You need to be patient. You need to trust God to equal the playing field, because what you think might be the perfect storm based on what somebody caused you, you have no idea what God knows and what God has seen about that person. And so you almost have to be like, all right, God, I'm going to give it to you. I know this person is shady. I know they're sketchy. I know they're only in my life to slow me down and to derail me. I am not going to return fire. I'm just going to keep building, but I'm definitely going to kick them out of my fucking vessel, right? And I don't care who that person is. Is it your grandma? Is it your dad? Is it your brother? Is it your stepmother? Is it your boss? Is it one of your fake friends? Like, whoever it is, they are not required to ride this thing with you. They are not required. And all you have to do is kick them out in order to get that wheel of karma to start turning. And you have to turn away. You don't look back. Don't check. Don't try to see if the return to sender is happening. No, you don't have to send anything out, because the universe is designed to equal the playing field. And all of us are energy beings. So any energy we put out, no matter why or what our mind is telling us about why we're doing it, is going to be returned. So you don't send shit out that you don't want to come back. You have to trust in source to equal the playing field. Okay? And so you obviously had to do that to get this wheel turning. You went within, you learned to forgive, you learned to laugh a little bit. Yes, you may have some anxiety or some fears about what comes next, because this is a life that you've never lived, but it is a life that you prepared to live through every battle and obstacle. I just combined those words, by the way. So now we're at the point of being generous, really appreciating ourselves, really being in harmony with who we are, being loyal to who we are, being responsible for our own vessel. Like they talk about Jesus taking the wheel, like you took the wheel. You're not giving it up to anybody else, and you are going to drive this thing exactly as you know you are divinely guided to drive this thing. And in doing that, you are going to become the healthiest version of self. Your diet might change. Your schedule might change. Your job might change. Your relationships. But what happens next is certain things, people, places are going to fall away because they don't contribute to your total health. They don't contribute. They look more like those old chapters of self as opposed to life and the stories that you're hoping to write, into what comes next. And so You have been given a wand. You have been given a certain spirit, a certain essence that allows you to lead, but you're leading because God trusts you. God trusts you not to operate out of your own woundedness, not to operate out of your own shadows. God trusts you to heal when you're hurt, right? And so if you can heal self, you now can teach others to heal. And so you've graduated to this position of Hierophant, right? Which means you have one fucking boss. You work for one employer for the rest of your days. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everything you do is based on God, Source, the Divine, the Most High. That is who you work for, right? Like that is who that's who you work for. And so some people will enter your space and they'll have all these schemes and these ideas about how they can pretty much fuck you up, right? Using their low level understanding of what this life is. And they will only be able to meet God because they failed at attacking you. You understand what I'm saying? And so you're going to have warfare. You're going to have opposition. But it is through their failures at bringing you down that they get to meet who you serve. You see? And it is in your success. It is in your ability to walk and not fall. It is in your faith. It is in your trust. That people are like, who you work for? Because I'm trying to work for them too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do they got openings? Yes, there are always openings, but are you willing to do the work to get the position? And anybody that's attacking you and moving against you, you already know they're not cut out to do what you've done, to endure what you've endured, or to grow into what you've grown into. And so if you've made it here, happy 2024. Congratulations. What comes next is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for being a part of Tarot on the Mount, whether you're a part of the TikTok or the YouTube family. I just thank you for being here because I'm definitely on my journey, and a part of mine is just talking about some shit that's not always cool to talk about. But one of the things that I wanted to do is just do a collective reading. And so if you identify with this in any way, congratulations on what comes next. It is like nothing you have lived before. Thank you so much, collective. Take care.